We're live.
Yes, we are.
We're live. All right. Just going to give it a second here and let all of the little nano robots do their thing. Make sure we're live everywhere. All right. My name is Adrian Park. And with me today, founder of Contractor AI. But what else? What else can you tell us about him, Adrian? Well, I'll tell you a couple things about him. He's a founder of Contractor AI. He is a roofer as well. He is, by any measure, a system whisperer and CRM power builder. Jay Carter.
These are getting better and better, man. I can live with this.
All right. So we're gonna get into some pretty cool things today about marketing and, well, a specific part of marketing. But Jay, can you let me share my screen here so I can share something with the good people out there? So, all right. So we're gonna get into go back to a familiar segment that we've done before.
Okay.
Called Contractor Math.
Okay.
And so we got a couple things here. Let's just we'll just play them. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Blast. Audio, share sound. All right, here we go. All right. So it's our friend Blank Math.
How does the graph work? Here's how men and women rate each other. And this is a bell curve. Men rate women on a bell curve. Women also rate men on a bell curve, but it's 3 points to the left because women think we're gross. So when you give a woman a rating, just find the corresponding part on the male bell curve. A female 6.5 would match with a male 5.5 because they're at the same point on the curve, but she would think he's a 4. Finally, I put a little ghost down here because if you're a male 3 or lower, you're invisible.
You know what? Sadly, you're not wrong. And it reminds me of what happens on dating apps.
He's not wrong. He's right.
Totally skewed because all women are competing for that top, percentage of men. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
That's one of my favorite lines of all time, by the way. Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's, what am I, about 1,000,000 to 1? So you're telling me there's a chance. Okay, here we go. Here's another one.
Are these really the people that are interested in me and think they have a chance with me?
Every single time I open this app, I am violently humbled by the people who are trying to match with me. And listen, come on, there has to be better than this. I know I could do better than that.
I'm not gonna tell you how I would feel if this girl came up in my matches. I'm just gonna say, if you don't provide the pictures of these men, you don't get to complain anymore. What if it's me? What if we feel the same way about each other? What a world.
All right, one more.
Please don't catcall me unless you're attractive.
That's right, contractors. No catcalling.
Prettier women than you call me beautiful, and I have had less pretty women than you call me not beautiful. Men usually know where we stand with women, but we usually don't know where we stand with a woman. If you want attention, you're going to have to sort through it.
Okay, and on to something a little more serious. So Contractor Math. Here's something that I thought was kind of fun that also we can talk about today. Here we go.
So here's a story that I alluded to earlier. So if the circus is coming to town and you paint a sign saying circus coming to the showground Saturday, that's advertising. If you put the sign on the back of an elephant and walk it into town, that's promotion. If the elephant walks through the mayor's flower bed and the local newspaper writes a story about it, that's publicity. And if you get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. If the town's citizens go to the circus, you show them the many entertaining booths, explain how much fun they'll have spending money at the booths, answer their questions, and ultimately they spend a lot at the circus, that's sales. And if you planned the whole thing, that's marketing.
That's great.
So that's kind of great, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good explanation.
Yeah. So I'm gonna real quick. Let's see. I've got one more illustration here. So while I'm pulling that up, I've also got some some contractor math. So going back to the math thing for a second and kind of like tying in our what we're doing today. So contractor math, Jay, is marketing edition. Having a marketing budget, but not knowing how much it is, what you're spending.
Mhm.
All right. Contractor math, wrapping every truck, like making sure every truck is wrapped while also having thousands of current and former customer address, phone number, and email and doing nothing with them.
Yep.
And finally, contractor math, freaking out about not having enough new sales leads or job leads while old job leads are laying around in the contact manager or CRM and nobody's calling on them. All right. So let's see, where's that at? I'm going to show you this real quick. Okay. So going back to the circus guy. So, you know, just going back to this and kind of like to kind of take us into what we're talking about today. So we're talking about essentially like getting the right traffic, you know, getting the right web traffic and understanding like, you know, what like me understanding like where leads are coming from and, you know, actually like knowing where your leads are coming from and, you know, what's working essentially, you know, doing some tracking. So going back to that last TikTok, so you got the circus coming to town, the sign, right? Advertising. Sign on the back of an elephant walking through town, promotion. Now these next ones aren't so relevant to us, but they're interesting to know. Elephant walking through the mayor's flower bed, publicity. Mayor laughs about it, public relations, or some people call that a public relations stunt. The cynics like me. Townspeople learning about where they can spend their money and have the most fun. That's sales. A little bit of a creepy picture. I'm not sure why I picked that one. And then the planning for all of the above. That's our marketing. So let's so Jay, we're talking about again about like getting a little bit more specific today about like knowing if you're getting a return on investment. That's what ROI is. A return on investment on your marketing, and also knowing like what, you know, because hopefully, you know, for any businesses that are, I'm going to say reasonably mature, you know, doing at least 2 million, 2 to 10 plus, you know, hopefully you don't just have one, you know, most of those businesses are not going to have one source of leads, right? They're going to
yes,
be doing,
they would.
They would. Okay. So interesting. So
And
let's
they'd
just
actually
say for a
have
second
zero
they don't.
sources if
So-
you didn't bring it up.
So let's just say, so I'm going to speak for myself here. So,
Yeah.
so we had we did not have a lot. We had a couple sources of leads that, you know, most of it was through physical mail, and then also like phone campaigns, which I did most of the phone campaigning. So, you know, we had, let's call it 3 primary sources of leads that were where we were going out and we were, you know, cranking the engine to like bring in those bring those leads in. However, did not have until probably the last year where our controller was tracking ROI on some of the spend, did not have so I actually knew like, okay, we're spending X and we're getting X amount of revenue back for these campaigns. There was the very last year. It was last year running the business. So what, you know, before everyone's eyes glaze over about like worrying about like, so I mean, because I can hear some of the feedback. I'm going to call it feedback or complaints. But like I could hear someone saying like, well, but I don't even like, I just need to get more leads. You know?
Yeah. So if you're,
why would I worry about return on investment when I need more leads, right?
I feel.
So what's your so CRM, Power Builder, System Whisperer? What's your response to that?
Here's my response. If you are in need of leads, okay, you are already on the wrong path. All right. So What I find contractors do, and I hear it day in and day out. It's really tough to hear too, because like everyone comes to me and they're like, Jay, I need leads. I'm great. Go find a lead company that wants to generate you leads. Lead traffic and leads is very easy to generate. Okay. Where it's difficult, and where at Contractor AI, where we insist on fixing the real problem, is great. You can get traffic, you can get leads. How do you convert those? Where are they converting from? Does it match? Like, are you going to get enough revenue or profit from that conversion? So when we talk about ROI, really, in my opinion, and I know it's, I keep bringing it up and saying it over and over again, but in my business, the most important system that I have is control on my marketing. And the reason why is because I am the rainmaker, right? At the end of the day, the leads that I generate are supported by the sales system that I built, is supported by the continuous improvement over time and the adjustments that we make to our messaging and our branding, that when that traffic comes across, we get better and better at converting it, right? So again, when you're looking at it from that perspective, think about a business, in two ways. We've got to get work, right? Getting the work is what most contractors struggle the most with. And then in reaction to that, they underprice because they need work, right? They are in a consistent, constant, near, scarce market, the scarcity mindset, right? So what I mean by, I need leads, great. Okay. If you're not capable of knowing what that lead value is or lead cost, and then how much you're able to get a return on that, chances are, like most contractors are, right? You're spending way more than you should be, right? And at the end of the day, here's the dangerous part. Okay. What stability do you have by relying on somebody else to generate your leads? And what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket? One lead source?
Yeah, that sucks.
So
we had that trap. That sucks.
Here's the other piece that I see, that before we think about leads, generating new leads, going out and finding new people, nobody even thinks about, what about all the leads that we haven't completely closed out in our CRMs, or what about all the leads that that are already within our network that are much easier to turn into conversions, right? So my answer to this is, when contractors ask me, great, you need some leads, no problem. I only work with high converting companies though. Can you tell me about your conversion process? How do you convert leads to clients, and what's the frequency and speed of that, so I know how many leads I should be able to produce for you, right? And the answer to that is always crickets, always.
So I want to just take a quick pause here, Jay, because so one of the reasons the two of us are doing this live stream today is that you and I started working together a couple of years ago, and one of the things that I was like, I have to work with this guy, is that you were already running the business I wanted, right? I wanted my business to run like that. And so I say that because, I'm just going to take a crazy stab in the dark, because I was running a great business. We were making a lot of money. We were very efficient on production and a whole bunch of other stuff. However, it wasn't what I would call lather, rinse, repeat the way your roofing business is today. So, from a maybe 5,000 foot view, so kind of maybe help everyone watching understand. So where do you, if you had to break down, if you get 100 leads at Jay Carter Roofing, where do the first 30 come from here, the next 30 come from here? Can you help everyone understand? I mean, I'm not asking you to give away all your secret sauce, but broadly speaking, where those come from, and how you do it, because I think that's, I feel like one of the things that makes us a little bit different with Contractor AI is that we're not just fake gurus that think we have some ideas about how to do this. We did it, I mean, I did it for 7 years. You do it, you've been doing it for 22 in your business, and still today, right now, you're going out and doing work, and like you've got a business that's like running as we're doing this right now. So maybe if you could share that.
Yeah, and
as
again,
doing
I'll
it.
call me out on it, but this is where my conversions come from. I mean, so
I'll look at that.
44% are Google, 44%, like I said, are coming from direct, which direct for us is our CRM. So basically they're
Okay.
regenerated leads. I've got about 1.5% from Facebook and 1.8% as of this moment right now. That's what I'm generating. And now these are on conversions,
Wow.
right? So I have organic
So
searches.
these are
as well,
actual
so,
sales, Jay.
yeah.
These are actual sales. Okay.
Right.
Not
So in
just
the last
cold
30
lead, not
days,
just leads. These are actual sales.
correct. Right. So
Wow.
again, I know where all my prospects come. And again, this is why I know the importance of, when you look at marketing, and leads is only like acquiring a new lead is the most expensive activity that you're
Right.
going to do. All right?
Right.
Most guys are buying leads at a place where they can't afford them. All right. So, I mean, again, and then they complain about lead quality and all the, all the stuff that
Right.
comes with it, but they're really not looking at a system of consistently selling. Consistently, like, it doesn't matter. I could have all my leads shut off tomorrow, all my campaigns, and we'll be fine. They're like, I would
Why
be
do you
absolutely
say that?
fine.
Why would you be fine? Explain
So,
that, please.
so I have levers within my CRM. So I don't completely go full tilt on my CRM. But I have 63,000 contacts, 63,000 people
Jeez.
that haven't opted out of my subscription. I could live
That's
entirely
crazy.
off that. And if I wanted to apply,
Wow.
apply some principles to it,
Wow.
I could run campaigns. I have more marketing data. Okay, more actual real contacts that have reached out to us, all right, that are homeowners clearly that
Wow.
had looked for a roof at one point, than I imagine any other company in our area or marketing agency could ever produce. So at that point, that is an asset, right? And I
Huge
use that asset.
Yeah.
So when I hear guys complain about the quality of leads, I often try to encourage them to think about it differently. And the first thing is understanding how people are making purchasing decisions. Oh, my camera break. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
guess
we
I
lost
lost
you
it.
on the screen there.
Yeah.
There you are.
So my first, the first thing to tackle, all right, the first thing to break down is, can you, all right, when somebody comes into your business and shows interest, what are you doing with that lead? Are you
Right.
just, oh, I called them once and then we forgot them? You don't need leads, right?
Right.
If you're doing that and it's a turn and burn situation where you're only trying to sell to the person that's selling right now, that is a very, very expensive way to market. And I think that's where a lot of guys get discouraged with Facebook. But more importantly, like, if you understood the client journey and you understood like what area of the buying decision, triangle they're in, right, in the funnel, you would be able to, again, and this is where CRMs come into play, but you would be able to close a lot more deals. You'd be able to squeeze a lot more out of the leads that you're generating. The ones that were junk, the ones that everyone tossed away, those are the ones that are money to me, because they might even take a year to warm up to a point where they're buying. The other thing is a sales system. Okay. And this is important. So a sales system exists within the marketing environment. Okay.
Right.
A sales system is, again, it goes hand in hand with the strategy and the tactic of your marketing. Okay. But a sales system will take somebody from a very, a not problem aware or solution aware, like just curious, into a close quicker. Right. So the way that I like to explain it is marketing. You can just be good at marketing and you don't have to hustle. You don't have to really be great at sales. You can be just good at marketing. You can be an order taker. But there comes a problem is you still don't have consistency, right? It's only when you combine good sales and marketing together that it becomes consistent. So again, it's a yin and a yang. We have to, again, first and foremost, for me, any clients that come in, there's that 30 days where we get their sales system, their sales playbook on point. I'm not producing leads for you until I know you can close them. And I know that I can apply the CRM strategies that we use to regenerate and to, continue to build, more and more revenue out of the leads that you're generating, right? So again, that's where a sales system's important. The marketing on top of that, like that's the very last thing we do. Like, or sorry, the lead generation is the very last thing we do. And what we're finding, and I know from my own business, is it doesn't take much new leads, all right, to continue to grow the business, because you've got an accumulating factor, right? So the other thing that I see a lot of guys misunderstanding is the difference between short term and long term, right? So again, everything I'm describing here, email lists and all that, that's a long term play. But combined with the short term, all right, and accumulating over time, that's where you get the consistency from, right? That's where you are able to generate leads on demand, right? And that's what you need to scale a business.
So you essentially, and this is again one of the things that I was so excited about working with you on, was like you have for all intents and purposes, like lead printing press, money printing press. So if you want to go out and generate sales, you just have to like turn up your marketing, and whether from your CRM.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
So the way that I do it is I'm not so much focused. I'm focused on running a very boring business. Okay. So we all know that there's times within, the buying cycle where leads slow down. We go into dips and valleys. Now that will naturally occur if you're just relying on outsourced leads. So like, people don't buy as much in the summer as they would in the spring. So you have to ramp up and plan for those pockets where you have, less leads than you would normally. So that's where, again, when you have these other sources to pull from, again, and what I mean by levering is and I'm not exaggerating this, like per sales rep, all right, I can generate 63 leads, and the next month is the exact same amount of leads. And the next month is the exact same amount of leads. So it brings a ton of stability to, to our business, because now I'm holding the sales rep accountable to his closing ratio. It's consistent. Where I think a lot of guys get into trouble is, in most contractors, is they've got leads 1 second, they fill up on work, and then they wait till they have none to start to try and find a solution, and they think it's just a pay and play.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to learn to do things consistently and use, systems to, again, be generating leads all the time, all right, you're going to find that you begin to have this base, right? That's just constantly producing, leads. And when you're adding new prospects to that base, all right, your cost starts to go down and down and down. And again, now we can acquire a customer at a rate that is profitable. Okay.
Right.
So if it costs me $1,000 to acquire a customer, all right, and we don't that's the whole metric that you're looking at between your sales and marketing. You want to know what your there's two KPIs you can look at. One is your cost per acquired customer. Okay. Very important. If it's costing you $5,000 and you have a $3,000 ticket price, well, you got a big problem, right? If, again, even if it's in that realm, but if like for me, and it's very expensive, it's about $1,500 overall cost me to generate a new customer. $43,000 ticket price, very healthy numbers, right? Now I can rinse and repeat that over and over again. I know that cost. The last one that you can use that's very, very helpful is revenue per lead given out. Okay. So every lead that gets issued, all right, should have a revenue number attached to it. So for example, that you're killing it with your sales and marketing, the higher the revenue per lead issued is. So if you can think of it like this, let's say it cost you $100 to acquire a lead. Great. Perfect. You're profiting 33% off of 33 cents off of every dollar you generate in revenue. Okay. Next, how much is it? How much revenue do I generate per lead? Right. And that number is going to be very simple, very, telling. And this is the numbers I look for in companies, is to see. And I know if their marketing or sales is off, because if they're generating a lot of leads, but it's a very low lead per revenue per lead generated, then I know they have a sales problem. They don't have a marketing and again, the closing ratio it can throw you off. So closing ratios, a lot of guys go to that. There's a significant problem with that though. So for example, if you are if you're selling an extremely high-end product, all right, and you have a longer time that it takes. So let's say you're a builder,
Right.
let's say you're a remodeler or something like that, and it takes you a year to close
Yeah.
a deal.
Right.
Okay. Well, that figure doesn't apply. Like the closing ratios are very difficult to hold someone accountable to. But what you can do is look at your overall, how much, like every lead I produced, how much revenue did it come with it? All right. That's a much easier place to see if you have a sales or a marketing problem. And I think a lot of guys suffer with not knowing the difference, that you like a weakness in your sales.
Yeah.
All right, can be interpreted as a weakness in lead flow and marketing.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I'm, again, just, I don't think a lot of folks are thinking about their closing ratio,
No, probably not.
I don't, I'm just saying, like, I think I think the default is to go back to, I don't have enough leads, right?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with needing more leads or wanting more leads, right? But I think to your point, it's important, one, to know, like, I mean, it helps to know what your average lead value is, I think, right? How much revenue is each lead generally worth? I think that's a really important thing to know. And then to know, okay, we're closing. I mean, I think the industry average in the United States, I want to say, is right around 11, closing percentage. Just, I mean, for companies, for contractors, generally speaking. But I don't think anyone actually knows what their numbers are,
and
you certainly
right.
don't know where the source, like you were showing, like,
right.
So basically with yours, it's like 5%, I'm rounding up, 5% comes from Instagram and Facebook. And then 45 comes from your CRM.
Yep.
And the other
Google
45.
Yeah. So
other 45 is
mix,
from Google.
That's a mix between SEO and like ad campaigns that I'm running.
Ads
right?
on Google. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so again, okay, I'm just trying to think about like practical ways, Jay, for like practical ways we can help people to,
so here's what I would
more
suggest.
clarity,
Yeah. So here's my recommendation to everybody and anybody. And now we do this in our Contractor AI. The first thing we do when we get a new customer in now is we look very carefully at their ability to count their score. Okay. So those questions I just asked, I don't expect answers to. I've not gotten one yet. Not one person that has come through. And it's not to be a dick about it, but it goes to show you, where the priorities are misplaced, right? So a lot of contractors are really concerned about getting the work and the operations, and that's cool. Okay. But if that's the case, right, and you want to grow your business, all right, you need a fundamental shift. It doesn't mean you have to go out and learn to be a pro marketer or anything. No. You don't need that. But what you do need to understand, okay, is that numbers, all right, especially when it comes to marketing, the numbers, the data, all right, those are the things that will grow your business. All right. Nothing else external to that will. All right. And again, if you put it in logical form, if you can get control of just consistent leads, okay, perfect. All right. And you can keep the number, the KPI, one KPI in check. All right. So let's call it revenue per lead. Very easy to calculate. Simple to calculate. How many leads did you get in? How much revenue did you generate? You can do that so easy. Right?
Calculator math. Yeah.
Perfect. So if that number, all right, is sub 1,000 or sub 500, all right, you have a sales problem. Okay. Fix the sales problem first. Okay. The reason why is because the higher that number becomes. So if you only brought in 2 leads and you sold 25,000 on that thing, well, how much is that lead? You don't need more leads, right? If it's way down, it means that you're not closing enough and you're churning through a lot of leads. Okay. Now, contrary to that, if that's every contractor there can do that calculation right now. They can just check how many leads they've brought in. Now, most guys will laugh and be like, I haven't paid anything for leads because I'm word of mouth. Cool. Great. Now, here's the part that you need to think of.
Right.
What would your offer look like selling to a stranger? Would it convert?
Right.
Do you have the appearance and the would somebody that didn't know you or hadn't heard about you and that had been warmed up to calling you, right? Word of mouth guys, would you be able to sell like head to head with another company coming out when you're being compared to an absolute stranger? And 99% of the time, the answer is no. And that's where the problem is. So think about it. The guy that shows up, you know, he's great at his job, blah, blah, blah. Like we all know those guys that are out there, right? Contractors, the truck and near truck and ladder guy. But let's say you even a little bit more than that. You got a couple trucks wrapped, you know, but you have no ability to sell into cold traffic. So meaning that, you know, one company shows up, gives a great presentation, sells the deal. Okay.
Right.
You show up, you know, overwhelm them with technical skills and like, you know, you have no clue about selling them. All right. And you know, you don't have as much success. You keep thinking, oh, I got underpriced. Do you have a marketing problem or do you have a sales problem? Right. That's what I mean, you know, by knowing again, where are the gaps? Where are the holes that you need to fill?
So I'm curious if, and maybe forgive me if, tell me if this is a bunny trail, but like, how could, so for the, you know, for the men and women out there that they don't have like because I think a lot of, I was just going to guess and say at least 80% of most sub $10 million contracting, you know, contractors are probably, I don't know, half to 2/3 of their leads are it's all word of mouth. Okay. So how can they do some like guerrilla math on that to understand what their real costs are? Because just my logic
so
is
it
like,
doesn't,
well, you're spending a lot of time, right? Because you're going out and you're hustling to I think
pure hustle.
Your expense is in your time and bidding a lot of work that, you know, you may or may not get. So, but I mean, how do you do, like, how would you calculate that?
Okay. So 2 places we want to look first. First of all, remove you from the business.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Take you out of it. How long would your business last?
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Obvious
sign,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay. Second, the market slows down and you get 3, let's say you were getting 5 leads before, 5 referrals, but now it goes down to 2. Okay.
Right.
How long will it take you to rebuild back up to 5? Right. We're not talking about like the idea here is that, and this is a way I would like you to visualize it. Imagine you have a lever. Okay. You can pull it up, pull it down. Okay. One makes you go faster, one makes you go slower. All right. And again, here's some places that are pure straight runs, and we've got, you know, curves in the road. Would you fare better than just to, you know, have no lever and just go full speed? Like think about it that way in terms of logic. It's about control. So it depends on what the outcome is that you're looking for. If you want to remain at a certain point in your business, like again, like there's a significant, you can get to 1 million, no problem, all word of mouth. Okay. You could spend 30 years there and maybe get to 2 or 3. Okay. Or, and invest nothing in marketing, or you get good at sales and marketing and you can do 30 million in 2 years. So, you know, again, it's all about what the outcome is that you want to get from your business. So, and again, I think people are in different places, you know, on that point, because I hear guys continuously brag about, I sell 70% of my leads. Great. You're undercharging. You're not making money. And really the whole thing is about goals, right? Guys don't even know. They're going out every day and they don't have a goal. They don't have a vision of what they want. And again, you know, the dispute of if you're charging too much and I can't charge this, I run into these mindsets all day. And I've come to this one conclusion, and hopefully it probably will piss some people off, but I would say 95-ish contractors, all right, should actually just get jobs. That's just my opinion, right?
95%, you mean?
95%, if not more, should just go out and get jobs. They should cease to exist. And I know it's sad to say, but like they're not operating businesses.
A little bit of a hot take there from Jay Carter on a Friday.
But hold on, again, like obviously I relate to them, like relate to the topic a little differently, but it's true. Like take them out of the business and you don't have a business. is my
Yeah,
point,
right,
right?
right.
You're not really you're operating a high stakes job, right? With high risk, high stress, high this.
Right. Very
So,
high
and
risk.
for those guys that are resistant to going to get marketing or going to get help or asking for, again, all of these things lead back to the same thing. Stay where you want to be. But the problem with where you are, all right, is in most times you are the problem, right? So when contractors are organized and do want to invest in their business, they have such a harder time, because we've got all these other guys that are just they're like, how do I say it? They're like zombie companies. They're doing such low volume, such
Right.
and they mess up the market for everybody that's trying to be serious about it. And at the end of the day, the outcome is still sad. They barely made enough wages to pay for their lifestyle, if any, right? And when they stop working, the business is gone. So what
Right.
was the point? There's no legacy, there's no impact, there's nothing there. And you've made it incredibly harder for other people. Now, if you want to get serious, and this is the way I judge contractors at all, like, and I'm pretty I'm pretty direct and straightforward. Okay. If you want to work with
Oh,
me,
you're
you
direct and
need,
straightforward. You?
yeah, you need to show me that you're a doer, right? And
Right.
doers, again, when I say marketing to doers and sales to doers, you either do or you don't. It's black and
That's
it's
true.
white, right?
Right.
So if you're on the fence of if you need leads or not, well, that you're already asking the question too late, right?
Right.
If you need leads and you're just now getting around to it, you're pretending to be in business, because good businessmen start with that. How am I going to generate consistency with new clients coming through the door and closing? Beyond that, like, just put it into context. I don't care how great an operator you are, and a lot of the problems in your business and the operation issues you have, okay, come from the roller coaster ride you put your sales and marketing through, because you're not looking at generating the same amount of leads every month. No, April you had 150, you ran around like a chicken with your head cut off. Oh, May, June comes around, now you have to produce that work. You're in the job, you're all over the place. Your lead flows drop, your customer
Yeah.
service goes to shit. Like, you put your guys through stress. All of a sudden, then there's no leads. You get to September and now you're scrambling again. Like, you're doing it to you. Now, if
Right.
you looked at it another way, and again, with marketing, it allows you to turn things up and down. You got levers. So let's say that in early spring, you had an abundance of leads. You're not going to turn on 3 of your campaigns. You're going to look to get 40 consistent leads. Perfect. I hit 40 leads. Excellent. Now the next month, get as close back to the same number. Those are the things that I look for, and all the years of business for myself,
Yeah.
because there's some months where it's you have to really put in work to get the leads. Right. And there's other months where they come in 3 days. So
When
yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say, Jay, I think too that was one of the things that you taught me early on was that, because we were experiencing the same thing everybody does, which is, you go
feast
out,
and famine.
yeah, you go out, you do a bunch of marketing, the leads come in, you go out and you bust your ass and you quote them and build the proposals and everything, sell the work, do the work, and then the leads are falling off a cliff, and then the work is done and there's no
Right.
leads. You didn't sell. You
And then
didn't,
everything you built, all the the
and
aggravation
it's
is
yeah, and
now at
it's
risk.
right. And now
Right.
you're in survival, trying to like
Yeah.
hustle, and now you're
Reactive.
cutting prices, and so that was something that we had done a lot better, but still was a challenge. So I say that to say you know how can we, like, what can we, first of all, today, how can we help people like that are watching? Two, what are the solutions, so for the doers out there, because they are out there, some of them watching live, some are watching on replay, like for the doers that are like, okay, that's me. I don't like, I want to get off the roller coaster. I want to get off the hamster wheel. Like, what's next?
Perfect. So next, if you want to, work with us, we do a sales marketing audit, right? We figure out if you have a sales or a marketing issue, period. Okay.
Okay.
Again, that's the first things that we're going to fix, because if we don't have the levers in place, okay, it makes fixing everything else so much more difficult. All right. It's like changing a switch with the power on, You know what I mean? Like you're going to get zapped, right? I mean, I have no other way to describe it, right? So
good analogy. Done that.
Right? So
Ouch.
so again, we want to make sure that, you know, we know exactly what the sales, and then in terms of scaling or growing, okay, we're going to fix whatever one is the most pressing one of that. So a lot of times guys just don't have the systems. They've been relying on someone else to generate leads. And like I said at the very beginning, if you have a leads problem, you're not asking the right questions. Okay.
Right.
Because when someone says they have leads, well, why? That's my, you know, why is that? Is it because you're not marketing, or, you know, what happened? And I will always hear everything but what the actual answer is. Right.
Right.
And the right answer to that is because I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And that's cool. So that would be the next step is, you know, have a sales and marketing audit with us. Let us tell you exactly where the holes are, where the gaps are, where the opportunity is, because so many of you have such low-lying fruit right there. Their problem you could solve quickly and easily without, you know, without a lot of effort. Most of the companies we go into that we've been going into that are doers, they have equity they don't even realize just sitting there. And that's most of what we do to get started. We get it systemized, and then we put the power in your hands. We train you to look at those numbers, and we hold you accountable to it, right? Like how, you know, how are we going to consistently do the same thing over and over and over again? And that's where you get growth, and that's where you get sustainability. And guys, this is where you actually get freedom. All right. Anyone that wants to tell you any other way, cool. All right. Show me somebody that's actually doing, you know, starting operations first. Show me a person. I'd love to meet them. All right. That didn't have a clue about marketing or sales, but just ran a great company just from purely operations, or how great they were on the tools. Show me someone. And how long? How long was it sustainable? Is that
Right.
owner still in the business? Like,
Right.
you know, here's a big difference here. The first systems that you have to get control of, and that will dictate, you know, again, the you know, the freedom and the ability to focus on, you know, operations or whatever, you finance, all those other things, is how you generate leads, how you are selling to your customers, and how consistently over time you're doing it. Right. Again, that's really that's the best way I can explain it.
So, and again, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. So, you know, again, I feel like the next concern is, well, how long is that going to take?
90 days.
Right. Okay.
90
90
days
days to do what?
And that's our team. So when you come in, we do the assessment. We do a
Does the
scope of work.
assessment take 90 days?
No. So
Oh.
the assessment takes like less than a week. Day one, you come in, we look at your whole business, not just sales and marketing. We look at it whole and how they're working together, because there's 5 major systems in a business. But the first thing we're going to shore up and get working on is your
Marketing and
sales and the systemization of it. Once I can get that data, and we can see what's really, like, you know, it's like hooking yourself up to an IV, or, you know, a machine to monitor your heart rate. Once we've got that, then we can start to talk about all the other things, because we know that the company's not going to die on the table, right? As long as we're
Right.
bringing in leads and we've got a way of converting those leads, we've got lots of time and room to fix other things that may be going wrong in the business. And we also have to give back the owner control. You don't get control by having runaway, like, guys that come in and say, hey, I had 100 leads. Great. Awesome. How many did you convert? How frequently are you doing it? How consistently are you doing it over time? The answer is never the same. Oh, well, you know, I had 100 leads in April, but I have 0 in September. Broken system, broken process. So the first controls that you have to get back are these 2 levers. The rest, again, that gives you the room and ability to fix the other things in your business. So we do that. We do a complete system, you know, get you hooked up to the IV systems, get you, like, you've seen the data things that we use. Like, we show you your data, and you get to see where everything is. And then we start to make decisions from there.
And then what you showed, like that system
all of our
that
clients
you
have
use, I was going to say that's something also that we are able to do, and do it easily, right?
Easily.
I think,
we do all of this. We put the systems in place. Like, you're coming to,
so their
experience
admin
the
isn't
change.
having to
No.
learn how to do all this.
None of that.
Right.
No, I don't have
I think
time
that's the
for
other
that.
concern. Right. I
We're
was
not
going to say the other
coaching.
concern is like, well, who do I have to you know, you're going to take my people away from doing, you know,
No.
she needs to do this, he needs to do that.
Mm-mm.
Right.
I want you to operate the business. I want you to
Right.
do what you're good at. Again, for me, I'm really good at systemizing sales and marketing and operations too, but I always focus sales and marketing first because then I have the levers in my hand until you've gone through the change and are able to pull them yourself and know when to pull them. So again, we hook you up to our life support. We figure out where things are coming from. Once we've got that, very, you know, it becomes a lot more stable. It takes 90 days, like anything, any major change. That's why our program's based on a 90-day like turnaround.
Right.
Let's get everything out and figure out what we need to fix. You know, we do a pretty good job of that. And most of the time, actually 93% of the time, I got my numbers on that. We've been
Okay.
able to get a customer to stable within that 90-day period, right? And they've continued on for the next 90 days and the next 90 days.
Right.
Just, you know, and it gives you a roadmap. It gives you a place to start to work on things. For a lot of contractors, they don't really know what's wrong. You know, you ask them
Right.
and they've got an idea, and a lot of times they're pointing to things that, you know, cool. You could get a new quoting system. Awesome. It's a software. It's a shiny object.
Right.
It's a thing. But how's it all fit together? You're not really solving the problem. You're only making it, you're only, you know, distracting yourself with trying to find it. And I think that's why a lot of guys give up on it and, you know, just settle for what they're getting. And you know, that's the worst is, you know, a lot of contractors, like I said, and that's why I like doers, but they just settle. They just continue to do what they're doing. You know, they never get better. They never, you know, they just survive. They just
Right.
exist like zombies, you know, because they don't have the courage to actually fix anything. They don't have the drive after a certain amount of time, and they're just trying to hang on and, you know, survive. And that's, for me, that's, you know, that's why I do this. I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. Right. And it sucks. And for a doer, it's hell. Right. You
Right.
don't want to be in a business. You can't, like, it becomes hell on earth if, you know, and I've put myself in that cage. I've put myself in that cell where it's just work every day, you know, same stuff, same problems, putting out fires, nothing gets better. You don't make any more money and you just keep working harder and harder and harder. Why is that? Because you haven't fixed these things.
Right.
Right. You haven't invested in yourself.
So, so I think that, so for the person who's like, you know, one of two places. So you're in a place where maybe sales and profitability have sort of like leveled off, and, you know, I think a lot of people are there and you don't know what to, it's like, what, okay, how do I, you know, how do I get to the what's next? And like, you want to do more, you're at 3 and you think you can get to 4 or 5 and you're like, man, I could make more money. Or your business is doing well and but you're still, you know, to Jay's, you know, to your point, Jay, like, they're like, well, you know, you can't leave, right? You're stuck, right? If you leave, you know, if you step away, then immediately sales fall off, or you know, productivity falls off, or the projects, you know, you're running work or whatever. So if that's you, then, you know, we have, like, this is something that we can help with, right? Because we can help with that stuff. So is that, I mean, am I getting
Absolutely.
that right, Jay? Okay.
Absolutely.
So the first thing, you know, we've got our playbook, right? So folks want to comment, we can send that out, or we can get in touch with you, which is what you've been using on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Right? On
just
Thursdays,
running people through the playbook, the same.
Yeah.
plays,
So Jay's going live on Thursdays around at 3. So commercial for that. In our school contractor AI group, and just actually goes live. And sometimes you're by yourself, sometimes you're with customers and things, and you're just taking them through like the playbook and helping them find stuff that's
Find money.
buried in their customer,
right.
like in their CRM, that just leads that have just been laying around, right?
It's actually been extremely fun, and like for contractors that have come in, just coming to that training. We've had 3 of our own clients go through it. We got like 72 grand, like revenue, just sitting there to be collected,
Just hanging out.
You know, I've got
Customers just
guys, right? Oops, right? I've got no leads. No. You've already converted these people. You just need to go and ask for their deposits. Like, what are you doing? Right? We see it day in and day out. It's a great place. Again, even if you just want to come get a game plan in place, run some things by me. I've been around a long time, got lots of, I'll point you the right direction if that's what your whatever your goals are. But the people we work with best are doers. They're people that want to grow their business, that want to scale, that want to have freedom, that are actually looking to one day exit their business, or
Right.
again, not work in it and have it be more operational and operate without them. If you are, again, just looking for leads, I'm not your guy. All right. I hate to say it, because I won't just give anybody leads. I don't know if you're profitable. I don't there's a whole bunch of problems that come with that. I don't know your customer base. And when I generate leads for someone, I do a really good job of it. And it's
Right.
because I do all of these things. I'm not just trying to throw ads out there.
So I think that's important too. So we're not like a sausage factory of leads
Right.
where we're trying to just collect a bunch of customers that want 100 leads a week or a month or whatever.
Right.
That's
yeah,
not
there's
our
lots of
jam.
companies that can go and do
Yeah.
that for you. For us,
I mean, we
wanna
could do that. You could do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Right.
easily.
But
Easily.
but that's not the kind of but your mission is to work with folks that, owner operators that want to be more owner, less operator, right?
Correct.
Or owner operators that want to grow the business and actually have increased revenue, increased profitability.
Correct.
And then so that eventually they can become more owner, less operator. And or folks that want to want to get the business to a place where where again, more owner, less operator, where they can actually sell the business.
Correct.
Because that's which everybody's goal should be, to sell the business, but I don't think a lot of people are in a position to do that.
Nope.
So, all right. So we're here. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We're here every Friday at 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. Like we were just saying, Jay goes live every Thursday at 3:00 Eastern Time, and he's again basically just taking some of our clients and anybody that wants to go through it, where it makes sense. If you want to jump into the hot seat, he'll take you through it too. Take you through some of the playbook and show you how to find stuff that's buried in your CRM and your contact manager. And then I go live every Monday at noon as well, kind of sharing my playbook for turning around a mason restoration shop. So and if you're listening to us and you're going, man, that sounds like it makes sense, reach out to us and set up a strategy call and see if we can help you out. So thanks for being with us, everybody. Happy Friday, and we'll see you next week.